Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. And I just want to say that first of all, I feel so very emotional. It's been quite a long while. I think the last time I created content was around the end of June. And as I was just picking up, my microphone, my lapel microphone, and just looking at the ring lights and all of that, I couldn't help but hold back tears because I realized how much I really love creating content, and yet I have really been doubting myself so many times from the time I bought like equipments like ring light, basically just ring light and this dual microphone, lavalier microphone. And I just thought, okay, maybe I need to take a step back because I feel like I'm oversharing, and I was not sure if I really wanted people to know so much about me, because in a way when you create content and it's around you, people sort of get to know so much about you, and I was not sure if I wanted that. And then I just felt that desire to really, the past couple of days, I've really been having a lot of ideas of topics I really feel like talking about. And I said, you know what, today I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get my phone because I use my phone to record and just do it. And as I was plugging in the microphone and I was doing a mic testing, sort of thing, I couldn't help but hold back tears because I realized how much I love this so much. I feel like I'm such a creative person, and I really like, sharing, putting I process information outwardly. So I really feel like I want to believe I have a beautiful mind, and I really like to share my thoughts and ideas on things. And what better way to do it than on YouTube? There's so much about that. How have you guys been doing? I've missed you guys. I've missed you guys. I know we're not so many right now, but I would really appreciate if you can share your this YouTube platform with anyone who's would like such kind of content. So for context, I create content around faith, career, lifestyle, and wellness. So if you're about that, I promise you that from now henceforth, be sure to be getting content every Wednesday of every week. I want to really commit to that. And so by the time you're seeing this video, I'll have uploaded like 7 videos in advance just to show you guys that I'm committed. So I'm planning to, from the day I'm recording this, every day I'll be recording content until I have 20 videos, and then I'm gonna like schedule it, and every Wednesday we are going to be uploading our content every Wednesday of the week. Alright guys, how have you guys been doing? Hey you guys, please tell me in the comment section, what have you guys been up to? It's been June, July, August, September, October, almost 5 months, yeah? What have you guys been up to? Anyone who's relocated, anyone who's gotten a baby, who's gotten a new job, lost a job, got into a relationship, got out of a relationship. How are you guys doing? I just hope that you are all doing well, really. Hey, in other news, Ruto has told us that there's not going to be El Nino, and I think that's a very good thing, isn't it? Because it was going to really damage a lot of property, livestock, and also a lot of lives may be lost because of the floodings and all of that. But I can't just help and wonder how much, like, it's such a huge joke. It shows a lot of incompetency, honestly, when it comes to our experts around meteorology and these things to do with weather and weather forecasting. Because I can imagine the amount of funding, the amount of research, the amount of commitments that has been made as a nation and also by other governments and other countries and other organizations just around supporting and preventive mechanisms around El Nino. And then they just say, oh shucks, it's not gonna be El Nino, it's gonna be just long rains, heavy rains. Like, we really need an explanation there. And I know weather is one thing that is very unpredictable, but I think Bana, we need to do better. Otherwise, so today I would like to talk about something that most of you guys always ask me individually. I always get either DMs or on WhatsApp or on LinkedIn, about people talking about, hi Val, I see that you're doing a lot as a change maker and a development practitioner. How can someone get into that space? And I thought, you know what, a big chunk of the content I'm going to create on this YouTube channel is going to be around um career. And when I talk about career specifically, one of the so I'm a polymath and I'm a multi hyphenate person. Let's just start there. The Luya in me is coming out. So development practitioner is not the only thing I do. So that's not the only thing I'm going to be talking about, but it's a very big percentage of what I do with my career. And so we're going to be talking about that a lot. And I know it's going to help so many people who want to venture into this space. And this is one of those videos. This is not the only one. So today I'm going to be talking about what they don't tell you about the change-making career. That's the common name that we use for change making. So before even I lose you guys and more than this, I would just like to start by defining who is a development practitioner, and I hope that you'll allow me to read. So a development practitioner or practitioner, depending on where you went to school, is someone who works in the field of either international development in non-governmental organizations or non-profit organizations, government agencies, and international organizations. So I'm talking about working in NGOs, working with CBOs, working in the government, parastatals or ministries, working with organizations like the UN and USAID and that kind of thing, Red Cross, you get the vibes. Yes, so they're involved in designing, implementing, and managing projects and programs which are aimed at improving the economic and social development conditions of communities and nations, especially in the developing world. So some of the areas that they focus in is things like healthcare, environmental conservation, poverty reduction, climate change, education, infrastructure, water, health, and sanitation, which we initially called WASH. And their work can encompass a wide range of roles, so from project management to policy analysis and advocacy. So basically it's really just, I would say it's a sector. The reason I say that is because you can really have any background and you will be in a development practitioner in the development space. So how do I mean this? So let's say, for example, I have a background in law, right? So I get in the social impact space and decide that I want to be more focused with, creating legal awareness or helping organizations be legally compliant with the laws that govern NGOs and social impact initiatives. You could be an IT, you could be having a background in information technology and tech things, and you could work in that space, providing IT and technical support to these organizations. You could be with a background in healthcare and you could be involved in providing healthcare services in a non-profit way, or you could be involved in addressing some of these health challenges, whether it's public health or access to medicines and all of that. You could be a graphic designer and you could be creating posters, flyers, and that kind of graphic content for organizations, editing their reports and editing their company profiles, organizational profiles, all that. You could even be an engineer and you could be working with organizations like UN Habitat to help with coming up with smarter and more organized cities, right? So it really doesn't, it's not a development practitioner is not a narrow thing. It's like, it's a field. It's the way you can say I'm a content creator, right? Content creation is a wide thing. You can create content about just about anything. You could create content about sports, you could create content about music, you could create content around comedy, but you're a content creator, isn't it? You could create even content about politics and law and economics. So that's the same thing with development practitioner, but there's a very huge focus in social impact, environmental impact, and making the world a better place, a word that we really like using a lot in the change making space. Another term that we loosely use is a change maker. So you're creating change, which is really awesome. So without further ado, I would like to start with sharing a genesis of how I got into the change making space. So for context, my mom has a background in the social impact space. So she studied her bachelor's degree in community development. And when I was growing up in like primary school, early primary school, that was when I was around 9 to 11 years, I used to go and work in her community-based organization, and pretty much I used to read a lot of. So they used to have like a lot of flyers and magazines in the reception area in the office where visitors would just come and read. And I remember particularly reading a lot of content um, around, rape and advocating against gender-based violence, violence against women, how to say no, and menstrual hygiene and all of that by FIDA. You guys know FIDA, right? I think it's Federation of Women Lawyers, but I don't know, but the hyphenation or the short of it is FIDA. So I just used to really love it. And I remember so the initiative was centered a lot around supporting teen moms and moms who are single mothers, widowed mothers. I mean, widows who are mothers, and people who have dropped out of school for one reason or another, just to be able to get a source of income to be able to support their family. So I remember they used to be taught how to create humor. We used to go, sometimes she would carry me along with the team, and we'll go to the slums, and we'll go and just talk to the women and just give them hope, and teach them how to do chicken farming. I was like, I really love this, but I really, at that point, I was very young and I didn't know what I wanted. I just thought it was so cool. It was so cool. I really, really loved it. So fast forward to when I went to high school, and at around Form 3, I joined Scouting. So for those who don't know, Scouting is like a movement. It's like a global movement where you join, and most of the initiatives are really centered around environmental impact, but it's like they also grow your practical skills. So you're taught things like first aid, you're taught about environmental conservation, planting of trees, and they just taught about so many like life skills that can really help you like to flourish anywhere, wherever you are, even like the tying of knots and all that, how to cook. I learned a lot about that there, because in the patrol everyone had roles, and I was the cook because I love cooking. So I remember like my passion for social impact was reignited at that point. And I remember we used to go for competitions, right? And we will be given projects to work on. So they will be given something like, let's say, I specifically remember the county level, the county level and regional level competitions. So we'll go, and there will be many schools there, and we're camping. It was so much fun. And we will be given a task for example, let's say we are in Ebunaka sub-county, which was where I studied in Viga, Bunyore Girls. Shout out to all the Bunyore Girls alumni. So we'll be told something like there's outbreak of HIV and AIDS in Ebunaka sub-county, and as scouts, you're advised to come up with a solution on how to reduce HIV and AIDS in the community. So we had a series of competitions. One of them involved that project where you're given a question and you're given manila papers and marker pens, and you're supposed to go and prepare in your team, and you're given like 2 hours or 3 hours, I guess, and then you're supposed to go and present before a panel. And then we also had another series of competitions where you used to be asked about current affairs. So they would ask you, for example, who's the president of Burkina Faso, or who is the minister of trade in Kenya or in Uganda. So you really had to be on your toes to know like current affairs. So it was really cool. And then sometimes we also used to do a lot of community work, like actual community work. Like we'd go and clean the neighboring towns, we would plant trees. I remember when I was in high school, I think I planted almost 100 trees. Yeah, should be 100 trees. So it was a lot of social impact work, and it was so fulfilling. At that point, I still didn't know what I wanted to do career-wise. I thought I wanted to do this or that. And at Form 4, I wanted to be a lawyer. I didn't even know what it means to be a lawyer. I thought a lawyer, in my mind, when I was saying I want to be a lawyer, I was picturing like the members of parliament who used to argue about bills in parliament, in the National Assembly and County Assembly, and indeed majority of those MPs are lawyers. And from that standpoint, that's why I wanted to practice law and pursue law as a career, because I thought, these people are really advocating for their constituencies' rights, isn't it? So that's how I got myself into the legal career. Fast forward to when I was in third year, I remember there was this particular long holidays. And you guys, this video is going to be long. Come out to cut 14 minutes, but bear with me. Trust me, it's gonna be worth it. Just watch to the end. Don't worry, I'll put timestamps so that I can save your time and mine. So I think the context is very important. So in third year, we used to have long holidays, and I remember this particular. So most of the times I used to go home in Kakamega during long holidays, because like staying in Nairobi, if you don't have a source of income, it's really expensive. So this particular time, I don't know what was specifically doing. I was organizing. We were about to take part in a certain debate competition. Had joined debate club, and was supposed to take part in a certain debate competition in Chambogo University in Uganda. So my school was Catholic University of Eastern Africa Queer, one of the schools that I'm proudest of to say I'm a Queer alumni. I really love that school so much because it really molded me into the woman I've become right now. So we were supposed to go for that competition, but long story short, we didn't go because of logistics reasons, blah, blah, blah. So I happened to be in Law campus, and I met a certain guy whom we had never met before. His name is Ian Gekonge. Shout out, Ian. And so he was in the process. By the way, guys, if you by now just bear with me. I have a problem with he and she, okay? So just bear with me. So Ian was in the process of organizing a community-based organization, like to register it, blah, blah, blah. And it's supposed to empower young women and men, of course, in the slum areas of Nairobi County, especially by creating awareness about the law. So I was like, you guys, what are you doing? So at that time, he was a faculty president. I was like, you guys, mnafanya nini? And they're like, I met a number of people in the office, leaders were faculty of law, and they were like, oh, we're registering nini. I was like, put my name there as a member. I'm interested. So it just started like that, one thing led to another. We started talking, nini, we created a constitution, registered, blah, 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 everything. Long holidays nikarudi catch nini. And then when we went back to now start a new semester, I remember that your semester in September. I went full time into social impact work. Like we would go to Kibera, we would go to Kayole, we would go to Madhare, we would go to Mkurukwanjenga. Hey, shout out to my people. And we'll talk to young people, we'll talk to women, and we'll just create awareness about the law, especially around aspects to do with criminal law, because there's a lot of hiccups between the police and the youth, and most of them were just being involved in criminal activities because they didn't know it was a crime, and most of them were just there was police violence, and there's a very bad relationship between the police and the youth. And so our work was like to build the relationship between the youth and the police and create law and order by enabling them to know their rights and their duties as well. I used to like it so much. That I used to look up to those activities. So I used to be the secretary for that organization. I remember like sometimes we even had to dip into our pockets. Like sometimes we'd even stay in Tao hadi around 9 p.m. doing this work. And I was like, wow. At that time, I'm not thinking this is what I want to do. I'm just like, wow. Just a side hustle thing that you just do. I was like, I love this. Wow, it's so satisfying. As in, you're talking to people and then you just see their eyes lighting up, like they have hope, and they keep calling us, come, you guys come. And I remember like we'll go to what is it called? We'll go to local radio stations like Ghetto Radio and just talk about youth issues, youth matters, and the law. I really loved it. So one thing led to another, and the thing about the change-making world is that there's a lot of connectivity and connection. So you get to know about other organizations, other CBOs, and before we know it, we started being invited to attend conferences. Another thing about change-making space, there's a lot of conferences and events. So we'll be invited to those hotels to attend those events. Maybe they are launching a project, they're launching a report, they're launching an initiative, a program, etc. Cool. I used to love it so much. One, because we used to be given kapedayam. Like we used to be given And then I also used to love the fact that there was buffet. But apart from that, I really love the fact that it was an opportunity to meet other people who are passionate. Just imagine how I'm speaking with passion about this, and then you meet 50 people who have the same passion, and they're talking about what they're doing in their slums with menstrual health, and others are talking about what they're doing with helping girls get education, and others are talking about how they're helping men to come out of drug addiction. I used to love it so much. And so that time I was in third year, and at that time we were allowed to do our electives sharp. So I changed. Initially, I was like, me, I want to do tax law. Me, I want to do commercial law, capital market, blah, blah, blah. But now with all these things that I was doing, I was like, I'm changing. My interests have changed. So I started doing electives in gender law, international human rights law, and humanitarian law, rights of a child. What else elective did I do? So I did electives around like aspects of the law that touch on public matters and social impact matters. Then when I was about going to fourth year, I registered a non-profit initiative with my mom, by the way, so-called Village Fitness Empowerment Project, VPEP. And we used to do a lot of work around women empowerment, sexual and reproductive health rights, creating awareness about menstrual hygiene management, and campaigning. We used to do a lot of campaigns and advocacy work, especially in Kakamega County, but also in this specific slum in Nairobi, where it was near our school. Like, it was called Kuwinda slums. So we used to do a lot of work in that slum and in Kakamega County, especially in schools. And so one thing led to another, and to another, and to another, to another, until I started learning more about fellowships, especially COVID. COVID ilinichanwa sana. I started knowing, okay, kuna other African countries. I started collaborating online with other youth change makers. I started doing like online training, online courses about things like youth advocacy, understanding the African Continental Free Trade Area. And then I started attending webinars and seminars. You guys know how they'll just like a plethora, just like so annoying, like so many webinars. Organizations were just organizing webinars left, right, and center. Na mimi naye nilikuwa kwa nyumba. What was I doing? My work was just attending one webinar after another. And then I started building my connections, my networks like that with people all over the world, because all you need is just internet connection. So one thing led to another, until I can say the highlight of my change making space so far has been joining the ITU as a youth envoy, that is the UN Agency for ICTs. And also, like, one of our major projects has been She Goes Digital, which is something I do to, provide women with better economic opportunities in the digital marketplace by providing them with access to computers, devices, internet connectivity for working space, and just also teaching them digital literacy skills so they can get money in the digital gig market. I'm really trying to compress everything so this video is not more than 40 minutes. Because we're already at 20 minutes, but guys, I just think everything I'm saying is very, very important, so bear with me. Okay, I'll put timestamps. I'll try. So that is how I have been able to do that. I started in 2019. The year is 2023. That should be 6 years. No, 6 years. My math is not so good. 6 years, if not 7. 6 years, isn't it? Sorry, 5 years, 5 to 6 years thereabout, give or take. And I'm not even anywhere near where I want to be, but I want to believe that I have really made some progressive milestones, so much so that I want to believe it has really attracted people reaching out to me and saying, how are you being able to, make it? And so that's why I want to share with you guys things they don't tell you about the change making space, and what can you do to, to thrive. We'll see. Probably it's gonna be a 2-part video. I'll see. So I would like to start by saying, just get into the points, right? Point number 1, do I start with the good things or the bad things? Let me start with the good things, because I want to encourage you people to join the change making space. Okay. So the first thing is that you will travel a lot, and I mean a lot. If you're someone who loves traveling, the change making space is for you. Guys, I was able to board my first plane because of the change making space. Like, because of being a youth envoy. And all the other subsequent reasons for me to leave this country, Kenya, to go to other countries, has been because of the work that I do in the social space. And not just international travel, I beg your pardon, but also national travel. Like, my first time being in coastal Kenya, was because we were celebrating an anniversary of a certain group, a society, which I am a member of, which is called Changemakers Exchange. Guys, here we don't keep information. So if you listen to my videos, you'll hear a lot of plugs here and there that if you listen keenly, it idea. So Changemakers Exchange, which is a community that empowers change makers across the world. So it was celebrating 10 years, and so the Kenyan members, we went to Coastal to celebrate, because wapi kwingine tunaweza jibamba nini in Kenya apart from Coast. Amazing food, amazing weather, everything. So I was able to go to Coast for the first time in my life because of change making space. I've been able to travel to different places, because the thing about the social impact space, right, is that let's say you want to go to northern Kenya, the next time you want to reach those remote rural communities, and one rural community could be in the other side of Kenya and the other one is in the other side of Kenya, and you have to travel to get there. So if you really love and like traveling, consider change making career or being a developmental practitioner, because a lot of the work is very, very like field based, I would say that. So there's a lot of going to the communities, because you want to interact with those people, you want to see those real problems, and you want to be able to see how you can be able to provide solutions to those problems. It's not like something like a desk job, like when you're like a corporate lawyer, where you're basically just on your computer, and the only time you're leaving the office is when you're going to court or when you're meeting a client. But there you really like social impact space, you have to go and see whatever some of these projects you're doing it qua ground. Enough when they wonder how is it, you're supposed to collaborate with the community leader, you're supposed to collaborate with the beneficiaries and the partners and all that. And let's say you're expanding to another project, you want to meet partners, yani inabamba tu sana. Hiyo nayo hata won't even lie. As in, it's a very good way of traveling as well as creating impact, and which is something I can call volunteerism. Like you're traveling as you're creating impact through volunteering, but some of them is paid. Another thing that I really love about this career is that it's very satisfying. And the thing is, I like the fact that I come from a legal background. I have worked in law firms, I have worked in corporate Nairobi, and so there's that way which I'm able to compare. Guys, I would like you guys to see my ring. How is it? I hope you like it, because me, I really like it. It's really cute, isn't it? But no, I'm not taking. I just thought I can show you guys. But I really, really love rings. I'm not such a big jewelry person, but rings, I do love rings a lot. So, okay, cool. So it's very satisfying emotionally. Like, because the thing is, with this job, you are able to see the impact of what you're doing. Like the beneficiaries that you're working with will reach out to you and tell you, hey Valerie, nyinyi watu mulikuja mukatufunza how to make soap, na kwa sababu ya hiyo mtoto wangu anaweza kusoma na anaweza pata school fees, nipeleke mtoi shule. Like someone will come and tell you, hey Val, because you guys talk to us, Aki, I was able to get a job. I was able to leave a bad group yenye walikuwa wametaka kwanza kuniingiza kwa vitu kama bangi. Because you talk to us, I stopped beating my wife. And I'm not guessing. The things I'm saying are the stories I've received. Some of the few things I've been told. Because you talk to me, Aki, bwanangu ameacha kunichapa. Like, we are able to solve conflicts more efficiently in our families. Because you came to our school, I now know how to use a sanitary towel. So when I started my period, was not worried, how am I going to use a pad? Because my mom never told me. I didn't have anyone to tell me, and you guys came and told me. I'm no longer ashamed when buying pads. Yani, it is so fulfilling, you guys. I cannot even start to say. Like when you put your head on the bed at night to sleep, your heart is full, because you know that I've contributed something to the current generation and generations to come. Like, I have made a positive impact. Hata kama na hiyo ingine tutaongelea as the downside, the money aspect. Hata kama the money is not as much, lakini it is very satisfying to know that I have created a change. Let's say kama you've been involved in constructing a well in a certain community. Every time you pass that well, you always be reminded that these people have water because of something I contributed, and it's just so satisfying. Okay. Can we go to the negatives? Because the negatives are more, lakini I'm also going to share how you guys can navigate around it. Because let me tell you, I highly recommend the development career. So I'm going to talk about the downsides because those are things that no one tells you. As I said, it's not a very defined career like legal profession, medical profession. It's just there. So some of these things unajulianga tu kwa ground as you go. No one really tells you. So the first thing, and this is something I like to say, your heart will be full. So I told you guys that it's very satisfying. So your heart is going to be very full. Lakini your pockets, hey, yeah. I wish I had a literal wallet to show you. I don't have it here. Your pockets will be empty. This is one career that if you're not careful, you can end up being very poor. You're sorry. And it's ironic, isn't it? Because I'm sorry guys, I'm struggling to look at the camera. Just bear with me. You're solving poverty in the society. But guess who's poor? You and me. Like, you're solving poverty, but you're also broke. You guys, don't be cheated by the floweriness and the pompousness around change making space. Like, don't see people, they are traveling, fully funded, sleeping in big hotels, going to big conferences, and you're wearing suits, and it's all this. Fine, the flights are usually paid for. Sometimes the meals are paid for, sometimes they're not. Sometimes you're given carpe diem, sometimes you're not. Lakini, most of the time, you're going to do the work of the Lord. If you're not careful, you're going to have a full heart and an empty pocket. And so you need to be very careful to make sure that. So I'm going to provide the downside and the solution. Sawa? Because I'm here to help all of us. I want us to thrive in this career. So how can you solve that? So one of the reasons I'm saying that you're going to be poor is one, then when I talk about like the kind of the jobs, most of them are like volunteer. Like, you guys have heard of things like UN volunteer. You guys have, like, because it's non-profit, especially with non-profit organizations, like, they are really, really not out to make profit. So what is their source of income? Grants from funding organizations, funding partners, and all of that. So you get that most of these budgets come, and there is no budget for volunteers. There is legit negotiate because I don't know what happened, guys. And me, but there, I'll be very honest. I'll be very, very honest with you guys because we want to be real and authentic. I think this is one of the biggest reasons as to why you get that most people end up being unfaithful with this funding. They end up reporting wrongly, and the financial reports, they end up giving wrong financial reports because sasa, if the budget is not providing money for us, lakini the funding that is getting into the bank is 2 million, and I have needs. Itafanya mtu anasema ati the transport from Rongai to Nairobi was 5,000 Kenyan shillings. Na saizo transport ni 100 bob. Ndo hiyo 4,900 ajilipe. And that is something that I think most funding organizations really need to rethink about it. Change making work is work. It is work because they are working to create a difference in the society. So if you come up with funding and you don't factor in the people who are going to implement your project, you're literally doing those people's work because they are getting paid. It's a job. It's a job. It's something you do with your hours. Lakini they say no. Says a project near 6 months one. It's not like it's serious work. So this is just also a call to the funding organizations, and that is something that I've started doing right now. One of the things I started doing when I negotiate with granting organizations and funding partners, I tell them that I am putting my expertise into implementing this project. I have knowledge in law. I have knowledge in matters to do with gender law and human rights and advocacy. And I have knowledge when it comes to community mobilization and community outreach. And so this is knowledge that if I was supposed to work for an NGO, I would be paid. So I quote my I quote my pay. I quote this is the service I'm providing, so I'm not going to implement this for free. And I also tell them I have a team. So I don't want to work with people and they think I am not paying them. Like they'll think I am eating the money I'm supposed to give them because there was no budget for it. So I tell them I have a team. I have a team of 5 people, and this is what they're bringing to the table. This one has knowledge in project management. This one has knowledge in graphic design. This one has knowledge in monitoring and evaluation. And we are going to hire a consultant to help us with this and this and this. And this is going to be their budget, because we're not going to be solving poverty for other people, and us, we're struggling with poverty. So if you're having an organization, that is one way. Negotiate because it's not like negotiate because this is work you're doing. If you're not wasting your time doing that work or spending your time doing it, you'll be doing something else that you're going to be paid for. So negotiate and tell them, I'm not going to do this work for free. Is it possible that we can factor in a budget for that? Because the thing is, I don't want to start misrepresenting the documents and saying that I bought a pen for $20. A pen for $20 and a pen is not even $1, such that I can pay myself. I believe in honesty and integrity. So I always just tell people, if you have an NGO, bargain, negotiate, tell them I have a team and this is what they're bringing to the table and they have to be paid for. We don't want things for lunch and transport and all. There's project implementation money for that. Absolutely. Because when we were in a law firm, when I used to work in a law firm, there used to be money for when, let's say, you're traveling to another town to go and file cases and file matters in the lands registry, blah, blah, blah. But there was also salary. There was lunch and transport provided, there was also salary. So, wasianze kuambia ati you're providing you lunch and transport. No. Another downside is that there's a lot of tokenism. I said it. There's a lot of tokenism. What is tokenism? Tokenism is when, and this is in my own definition, you're there to be seen, but not to be heard. And there's this thing that I like to talk about, and I'm going to do a whole video about it, which is the youth ladder of participation. Tokenism is when, especially these high-level organizations, they engage youth and women just for the sake of inclusivity, or people of color for inclusivity. So just there to complete a metric so that they are seen as diverse and inclusive, that us, we are youth-focused, youth engagement, youth inclusion in decision making. Lakini, you're not involved in any aspect of creating that solution. You're not included in the decision-making spaces, but you're in those decision-making tables just as a puppet. So there's a lot of that. And I remember, I'm not gonna say her name, but I remember one of my very good friends who is has more older than me and has been in this game and this space for a longer while, told me that, the thing is, most of these organizations, I'm talking about especially international organizations or these high-level NGOs, they know that young people, one, are very passionate. Young people have this energy. When you have youth in a room, they have a burst of ideas, they have energy, like they add life to a project. They really make it vibrant and all of that. And they have all these innovative ideas. And another thing about youth is that youth really like to seek validation. We young people, I'm talking about people within 18 to 35 years, we really like validation in the sense that, they will find your travels, they'll find your what, they'll give you big titles, and then they will start talking about how you guys, you're the future. You're the future. You are the real deal. You're going to take over the world. You're the next Michelle Obama. You're the next, Nelson Mandela's and all of that, just to feed your egos. Because the thing is, youth are not yet anywhere close to being accepted in some of these tables, especially around leadership and governance. So what are they going to do? They are going to give you words of affirmation. You guys are amazing. You guys are energetic. You guys are what? Lakini, when it comes to the real policy work, when it comes to making the decisions, mnatumiwangwa tu reports, mnatumiwangwa tu like decisions which are already made, and disclaimer that it does not apply to most of the organizations, lakini majority. So you'll end up just being there, but you're not really creating impact. And so a solution to that is just being stubborn. That's what I can say, because most of these rooms, they just feel like youth are chaotic, youth have nothing to contribute, youth are just all over the place, they have no experience, they're childish and all of that. And so what do you have to do? One, just be stubborn, right? Sometimes you'll not even be given a microphone to speak, lakini you need to stamp your presence. Why? Because you know that you're there for a reason. You're there to represent the voice of all those other young people in your community, in your village. You know where you come from, you know the challenges they're going through. You cannot afford to be kept silent with diplomacy and with words of affirmation. No. Second solution is know your stuff. Allow me to use French here. Know your shit. You need to know your shit 100%. In the sense that when you're put in that room, right, you prove to those people that I'm not just here as a flower to complete the gender parity of we have more women, we have people of color, we have youth. No, you actually are an expert, you're an authority in that field. When they talk about youth engagement in decision making, when you're talking about digital inclusion, I'm talking about the things that I'm involved in. When they're talking about technology for good, when they talk about technology transformation, bridging the gender digital gap, when they're talking about, upskilling, you just don't know the cute terms of here and there, but you are actually adding value such that every time they want to make key decisions, you become a point of reference. Right? You have to prove your worth. And this is something I'm always saying, even as I'm invited to speak in events. Make sure you're adding value to those decision-making tables, to those rooms, such that they can see, this Valerie, when she comes here, she's not just here as a woman, she's not just here as a person of color, she's not just here as a youth, she's actually a voice of reason. Another thing I have learned is that, another thing about they never tell you about the change-making spaces, that it's very, very, very competitive. You would think, see, we're just solving hunger. See, we're just helping people to, reduce poverty. So we're helping people to have access to water. We're helping people have better and affordable housing. Or, shock on you, I will tell you for a fact that I have struggled with getting jobs in the development space than in the corporate legal space. I have struggled. Why? Because you get that a position is an entry-level position, lakini the requirement is you need to have nothing less than a master's degree. So, munapata most of the opportunities nataka ukue na master's degree, inafaa ukue na a wealth of experience, as in those people, si ati ni cha kitoto. Most of the people don't understand that there's actual work that happens in the development space. And then it's also become very, very very popular lately, not like kitambo. So it's been very, very popular. More people are involved in it. It's actually a thing. There's even a name for it, development practitioner. And so with more people means more competition. So you really need to know your craft. You really need to know what are your values and your skills. And I'm now heading to the solution. So you want to make sure that you build a brand for yourself. You create a value, package that value, and monetize it. Mimi, by the way, niko almost kufika place yenye I am almost getting done with applying for jobs. I'm now looking at myself more of like a consultant. Because you see, the thing about being a consultant or being a freelancer is that you're not tied to this organization throughout. That's one. Two, it's harder to get job opportunities than is it to get a consultancy opportunity. Another reason, the way that the nature of work of most of these social impact organizations are project based. So unapata, let's say wako na project from November 2023 to February 2024, and then they'll not have any other project until May of 2024. So if the project ends umehang. Lakini if you're a consultant, you'll get that there's another organization, hii project ikiisha Feb 2024, unapata consultancy ingine inaanza March 2, so you're always engaged. By the way, NGO work is not like corporate. You open your door at asubuhi, Monday to Friday, or Monday or every day. No, it's project based. So if a project is for 3 months, they'll see 3 months, and then the next one maybe will start after 4 months. The other one will start. Some projects even run just twice a year. Some projects run for 6 months and then that's it. So you can end up like umehang, and now getting the other job tenor, job contract. Most of them ni contractual jobs, so unapata maybe ni 1 year non-renewable, 3 years non-renewable, paid internship and paid internship. As in, it's so weird like how they work. So what you want to do is you want to consider more being a freelancer and being a consultant. And I know you'll be saying, oh, but how can you be a consultant without having a master's degree? Because also with consultancy opportunities, most of them wanasema make sure you have a master's degree. You can work towards that, but maybe you're just starting off and you still don't know what you want to specialize in. So you may end up doing the wrong masters. Like me, when I finished campus in 4th year, that was in 2020, I thought that I want to do a master's in public policy. So much has changed with my interest over these years that right now I'm not sure if I want to do a master's in public policy anymore. I'm more interested with things to do with social entrepreneurship, because I've realized that is the most ideal way of creating impact and also making profit. I'm more interested with things like youth inclusion and decision-making, youth engagement. I'm more interested with things like entrepreneurship, and all that is still creating impact and creating change, non-profit management and branding and all of that. And when I was finishing campus, I thought I wanted to do a master's in law. First of all, I always think I do a master's in international human rights law, which is not really what I want to do now, and all that. So how do you start off? Certifications are gonna help you, and apply for that opportunity and tell them, fine, I don't have a master's, but I'm a certified project management professional. I've done a PMP course. I have this certification. I did a certification with Harvard. As in, kuna a lot of online courses. Zingine ni free, zingine iko paid. Just find what works for you. So make sure that you identify the specific skill you want to provide, right? Is it in healthcare? Is it in IT? Is it in communications? Is it in project management? Is it in monitoring, impact evaluation and learning, MIL? You want to make sure you know that specific skill that you want to polish, or let's say 2 skills, and then build your knowledge, get certifications, and tell them, do you want one master's degree, or do you want these 5 certifications that are gonna add this value into an organization? By the way, kitu inanisustain saizi. Me, I don't have like a formal job, but I consult here and there for organizations, and that's how it sustains me. I just want to go back to that thing of akuna pesa. You remember, you guys, I told you that if you're having an NGO, you want to negotiate for a budget for your team. Another thing is this concept of social entrepreneurship, which you guys have heard me saying it here and there. So you may be asking yourself, what is social entrepreneurship? So the concept of social entrepreneurship is a not highly new concept. It has been there, but I think it has gained popularity over the last 2 or so years, since 2020. So basically, social entrepreneurship seeks to address social or environmental issues through innovative and sustainable solutions. So there are 2 things coming here. You're creating social impact, but you're making income. Let me tell you, there is a huge industrial revolution that is happening. The world is really changing right now in very many fronts. We're in the 4th industrial revolution, and the change-making space, the social impact space, is not immune to that kind of change. So if you ask me, in the next 10 or so years, there are going to be less and less models where organizations provide grants to smaller organizations or CBOs. Why? Because research shows that there is not much impact that comes out of it, because it's like I usually like to tell my colleagues that it's like a professional beggar. You write a proposal and then you wait for funding to come. That's 1. 2, it's unsustainable, because you get that this funding organization can only fund that project for a year. Tell me how you're going to solve a problem like unemployment among young women in 1 year. You can't. So if that funding ends in that 1 year, what happens? Like una hang ama what happens? The team that you have, how are they gonna pay their bills, and how are you gonna pay your bills? So you want to be another thing. When you get funding, there's a lot of control from outside sources. They'll say, as in me, I have stories for days. I cannot finish all this in one video. Lakini, you get that some of these funding organizations are so weird. Hadi, they want even to tell you how they want your flyer to be. Those flyers that are usually created when you're running a project funded by this and that. They want this color, rightfully so. It's the man, isn't it? They want you to do it this way. They want you to do it that way. Sometimes it's a funding organization from somewhere in Europe. They don't have understanding about how things work in your local community, in some village in Shirere. And so some of the things they tell you they want you to do it this way reduces the impact you could have done. And so it just inatoa control from you, and so you're not able to scale much. So what is the solution? Social entrepreneurship. You are doing business and you're creating impact. I would like to start by giving you guys an example of 3 social enterprises that you'll not even imagine. Oh, these are social enterprises. They are social enterprises. They're creating social impact and they're making income. The first one, and most of you guys know, is M-Pesa. M-Pesa is a fintech solution that is very easy, and it's solving a very clear problem, which is financial inclusion. It doesn't matter if you're a mama in the village. It doesn't matter if you're selling groceries in the market. It doesn't matter if you're a student. You're able to send and receive money with the help of your mobile phone. You don't even need a smartphone. Even a kabambe can do. You can get and receive money. Are they not solving a social problem? They are. They really are. Like, squeezy, like, nikienda kubai nyanya in my to my mama mboga, I asked her, how do I pay? And she says, pochi la biashara. You know how cool that is? And she just has a kabambe phone. And when you pay with pochi la biashara, you cannot reverse. So that they're creating problems, they're solving problems even for such small and medium-sized enterprises, MSMEs, and they're making impact and they're making money. How? Transaction costs. Another one is called Rwandan Women's Coffee, I beg your pardon. And they train and employ women in the coffee industry. They produce high quality coffee beans and sell them internationally. So what is that? Economic empowerment. They are providing economic opportunities for women in a traditionally male-dominated field. Another one is called EcoPost, is in Kenya. Another one is EcoPost in Kenya. And it's a company that recycles plastic waste into durable and environmental friendly plastic lumber, which can be used for construction and fencing. So they are addressing the aspect of climate waste. They are reducing environmental pollution, climate changes, and what are they also doing? They are creating jobs, isn't it? They are creating jobs. So you can create impact and create money, And the thing about people who are passionate about solving social problems, you even feel like it is wrong for you to make money. And this is something that my dad really tells me, because he's really pro entrepreneurship. He says, Val, what makes you think that I'm not solving a social problem because I'm an entrepreneur? Like, who tells you that the people who makes the most impact ni wale wenye wako na NGOs? In fact, a lot of companies are solving a lot of problems. Entrepreneurship is really just about solving people's problems, and then they pay you for that. It could be maybe those, and so you see the thing, and I'm going to do a total different video about this, is that there are so many social enterprise models. You can decide to get the money directly from the customers, or maybe the problem you're solving, those customers that you're intending to target cannot afford to pay for your problem. So you get other people to pay you so that you can provide that service or product for free. Guys, actually, there's so much I want to say, but time is really pressed. This is already almost 50 minutes. So allow me to stop it there and tell you that, guys, if you're thinking of joining the social impact space, take this as your sign. I've cried. I have had my lowest moments because of social impact work. I've had my highest moments because of social impact work. I've met amazing people. I've traveled to different countries. I've traveled to different countries. I have learned a lot about myself. I have grown as a person because of social impact work. I've made the most money. I've made the least money. I've been broke because of social impact space. Highly recommend it. So if you guys would like to hear more about this, kindly let me know. And if you're not subscribed, please do. If you know someone who has been thinking of joining this space and they will benefit from this video, consider sharing it with them. If you'd like to reach out to me personally, I'm gonna leave my email address below. Feel free to reach out to me and ask me. I also provide consulting services for people who want to venture into social entrepreneurship and all that. I am not an expert. I'm just sharing my experiences of how I've been able to monetize my skills, my knowledge, my passion to make money, and at the same time to create impact. Let's learn together and let's help each other. Till next time, guys. See you next Wednesday. Bye.